I'm a World War II combat veteran. I served on the USS Missouri, which the surrender was signed on that battleship in 1945, September 2nd. The thing I remember most is on April the 11th, 1945. We were hit by a Japanese kamikaze coming in low. That kamikaze came in on the starboard side, hit. When it hit, the Japanese pilot was cut in half and rolled out onto the deck of the Missouri. The machine guns from the Zero went into one of our 40mm anti-aircraft guns. The next day, we buried the Japanese pilot at sea, which I think was absolutely unbelievable at that time. I have to be very honest, I wasn't afraid at all that day. I know a lot of people can say, you know, you should have been, but we weren't. I had 25 men under me. We had 5 20mm on the port side, and those guys stayed right at their guns. They didn't run. As far as I was concerned, they weren't afraid, and they just stayed there at Condition 1 in the AA battery. On the Missouri, you have 5-inch 38 guns, you have 40mm guns, and you have 20mm guns. When a Japanese Zero comes in, the first thing it opens up are the 5-inch with a crack. The second thing opens would be the 40s, and last would be the 20mm, which is what I was in charge of. But I would like everyone to know that the only way to stop a kamikaze once it's headed for you and straight in is getting hit right in the nose with a 5-inch.
It was such a tremendous happening to us when we heard that Pearl Harbor had been attacked. I was completely overwhelmed with it, and I decided I want to be in the service, but I want to be a member of the United States Navy. I still remember coming back to the office and saying, I just enlisted in the United States Navy. Everyone didn't approve of our joining the service, especially the men. Their answer was, don't go into service. The good girls don't go into service. They felt that the woman's place was to stay at home, and we had to combat that. And the more I thought about it, the more I figured, no, it's my country, we're at war. The president has signed an order that women be accepted into the United States Navy, and I'm going to take advantage of that. I want to be in service. This is so important to me. And most of the women felt this way who went into service at that time. They felt it was up to them to do what the president had asked us to do, to go in. They needed women to fill the jobs of men who had to go out to sea duty. And then that's how we felt about joining. I've never regretted being in the Navy. It was one of the proudest things that ever happened to me, that I could go and serve my country. Now, it's so wonderful to see women have the command posts, to be the captains of ships, to serve their country, and they come to us very often and say, you were the pioneers, thank you. We realize that we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. And you know, that brings back all the feelings that I had. And I find myself thinking, gee, I wish I was young enough, I joined the Navy. And it's just a wonderful feeling to see that.
The airplane fell into a tailspin. So I was hanging partly out of the cockpit of the airplane. I was partly in and partly out. And so I caught my right foot between the rudder bar and the brake on the right side of my airplane. And I was able to keep myself in the airplane because my foot was jammed. But because of the centrifugal force of the tailspin, it was pulling me out of the airplane. When the oxygen mask was blown off my face, I went unconscious. And when I came to, I was in the parachute. I was trying to take some kind of an assessment of my personal situation, and I looked at my right leg, and my right foot was turn around backward, and all the straps and riser harness of the parachute was on my right leg, and that was the last thing that broke free when the parachute canopy pulled me out of the airplane. And I was afraid because I could see my foot, my leg was actually fractured in two. It was going to fall off, and I reached up above my foot and grabbed the shroud lines so that I wouldn't fall free of the parachute, and passed out again the second time. And when I came to, I was in a dream that I was in an agitated situation in a room, and I was hitting my head on a wall that I couldn't control. And in reality, what I was doing was I was coming crashing down through the trees, hitting the branches. I was coming down through the trees, and when the parachute came to the rest of the top of the tree and broke the fall, I came to the second time, reached out and grabbed a branch and sat on it. The Germans came, saw me in the tree, saw the parachute, and took me to a hospital. Glad to be rescued, but became a prisoner of war thereafter.